Fundamentally, the BEI clinical WhatsApp support group is my first spot. I almost always, if you do a keyword search, somebody has had this discussion in the past. If you've just joined in recently and you don't have that previous chat, post your question. This is the one community I have seen that does not have an ego. Right? They're actually willing to help you. You message at 2 in the morning, somebody is going to message back to you and say, how to work on it. So that is your support system there.
Hello everyone, welcome to another podcast from our series Voices from the Lactation Field in India. Today we are delighted to have with us Dr. Swathi Bharat. She is an ACLP graduate and a lactation professional who works from Bangalore. So let's hear from her.
We have Dr. Swathi with us. Dr. Swathi is an ACLP graduate. She's also a women's health physiotherapist. She's part of ALPI Action Committee 1 that she can share about what we do. And she's also the founder of Momgenics. So Dr. Swathi, would you like to share a little bit more about you as we talk to you today?
Well, thank you, Jessica, and good morning, all. What she said is absolutely true. I'm an ACLP grad. I think I finished it in 23. I'm not sure. But I'm also IYCF certified. I've also got my MIACAN certification. I'm an IBCLC aspirant, so I'm really trying to study for that. But my base profession is of a women health physiotherapist. I work in a hospital out here in Bangalore. With respect to ALPI Action Committee 1, we are a really exciting bunch of people who, on a routine basis, do a lot of quiz presentations, discuss on different cases that we get. And we have a few protocols that we're trying to simplify for Indian scenarios and all of that. So basically think of it like a team that is working towards simplifying breastfeeding for Indian mothers, right? With respect to Momgenics, this is my little baby out of the biological ones, of course. I started this clinic. It's a women-only clinic. I do physio and lactation for women. While as a physio, I can work with, ortho, neuro, pediatrics, so on. Genuinely boring. There's something so beautiful about working with babies and mothers. I'm just happy doing that for now, and I don't think I want to change. I think I did that even with Jessica once. I think I know quite a few of them, and I've spoken to them personally also. So there's nothing for them to ask.
So while we talk about community and learning and yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Swathi. So today we have a few questions for you as we share, and then we have about 17 of us here who are joining here, and then please, as you listen to her, if you have any more questions, please put it in the chat and we can review them also. But to start with, I just wanted to open this with you, Dr. Swathi. So when you finished your course and when you started your practice, what were some initial challenges and what did you do to overcome them?
I think from a broad perspective, any lactationist, regardless of whether they're an MBBS doctor, whether they are a physiotherapist, or somebody who comes from an engineering and arts and science background into lactation, the fundamental problem you're going to have is you're going to be working against people who believe they know what they're doing is best. So when you go back and say that I'm a lactationist, I'd like to work in your setup, I'd like to teach moms how to breastfeed, you have two sets of people. One set who will wholeheartedly call you in and say, come, let's be on board. And the other set who will actually sit with you and tell you, what the hell do you know? Right. So to me, the biggest challenge is proving our worth to that set of people. The team that's going to pick you up and build, fantastic. You've just been lucky. But 90% of us face this backlash, especially from pediatricians and gynacs, to an extent where I have been told, what the hell do you even know? What are you going to teach? Mothers know how to breastfeed. But the reality is on a daily basis, we see it's not as easy, not as straightforward. And to add to that, the societal pressure that the families have to, breastfeed and all of that, it just puts a whole lot of strain. So to me, the initial challenges is where you have to prove your worth to the stakeholders. And the stakeholders can be the doctors, can be the management, can be families themselves. And how do you overcome them? Fundamentally, be confident of your work. You have genuinely studied. Secondly, go back to the drawing board every single day. I think as a physio, my learning is very haphazard. But as a lactationist, my learning is on a day-to-day basis. There's not a single day when I have not opened a research article, where I've not opened a textbook, or referred back to something that we've saved on our computers, because there's just so much that keeps changing. And you probably don't get the time to, do it at a later date. You have to do it today, like now. You saw a case, you come back, you redo, you ask, you speak to people, and keep upgrading. So that is the only way you can overcome. Otherwise, why should anybody give you that chance to, work with their patients? It's their reputation at stake, end of day. Nobody is going to allow you to do that otherwise.
Mm-hmm. So, like you said, like, be confident, go back to the drawing board. So when you and I think you also mentioned like build your team, and like there would be people who will be around you. So when you like talk about that, so who are some of your go-to people in Bangalore as you like think about it, and how would you encourage our listeners, and even like later when people listen to the recording, like how could they build a team around them?
Fundamentally, the BEI clinical WhatsApp support group is my first spot. I almost always, if you do a keyword search, somebody has had this discussion in the past. If you've just joined in recently and you don't have that previous chat, post your question. This is the one community I have seen that does not have an ego. Right? They're actually willing to help you. You message at 2 a.m, somebody is going to message back to you and say, how to work on it. So that is your support system there. The second thing is finding a local community based out of Bangalore. I think my go-to people, Prachi Katuria Gera, Dr. Prachi, that is, Anaga Narsimhan, then there's Dr. Shruti Jaisuriya out here, quite a few of them in Bangalore. Beyond that, there's Pooja Marathe in Hyderabad, Archana Reddy, Parul Mudit Mishra in Pune, Sharduli ma'am, Roshni Sodhi doctor, right? I mean, these are all big names. They've been in this. Rashmi Podwal, I think, is what? She posted a 17th year anniversary recently, Jessica. She's been a lactationist for 17 years. So these are people who are genuinely willing to help you. And sometimes you have to be really aware that they have a day business as well. So they may not respond to your question immediately. Drop them a WhatsApp message. I haven't seen one person who has ever said, I won't respond to you. They will come back late, but they will come back. So to me, building that network is important. But always remember, whenever you send a message saying, I have this case, I don't know what to do with it, please do your ground homework before you send them. Nobody has the bandwidth to spoon feed you. So do your groundwork and give the whole history and say, I did this. Is there something else that I should have done? Or I still don't know what else to do. I remember I had a case of mastitis at 9 a.m. I'm not sure why I went into a panic drive that morning. But anyways, I've worked with mastitis before, and in my sleep, I'll work with mastitis. But that morning, I was blank, right? So I posted in the group saying, I have a case of mastitis that I'm actually going in to see. I'm going to the hospital now. Somebody please tell me what the protocol says. I've totally forgotten what the protocol says. I remember Anaga Narasimhan calling me and she's saying, calm down. You know what to do. And she read the whole ABM protocol number 6, one of those protocols. And she said, this is what you should do. I was like, I already knew this. And that's when it struck me that in the state of panic, your brain doesn't really work. And that's where your community is going to come in. But please do your homework before you go blind. Always ask. And sometimes you've done everything and there's still more that could have been done. So you post back on the group. Recently, there was an image of a nipple bleb that Pooja Marathe had posted in the group saying, we've done everything and nothing seems to be working. While she didn't find a solution, she probably just bounced off ideas of the rest of us. And she and I spoke, I think, for about 20 minutes about the same case. And we said, okay, we'll wait and watch. So somewhere at the back of her head, she now said, I've tried everything. I haven't done something that was wrong, or I have missed something. It was just a revalidation of her learning. And that mattered. And that's how you build your team out here.
Yeah, I think you pointed out like some really important things. Like, so building a team, like, first of all, is like really important. The second thing, I'm just reiterating a few things that you said. Second thing that you said is like message people first, because people are busy. They have their own practice, they have their own lives, and they might not be able to get to you like immediately. And many times we want those things, like we want like right now. And WhatsApp has kind of spoiled us sometimes, because if we do share something, we think like we're going to get an instant response. But I think you shared some really important points, even with respect to doing your background work. No one is going to spoon feed you. You have done your work, you have done your course, you know things. So at least do that initial background work. And if you don't know that, like maybe ask someone who would know how to do all of that.
Yeah.
So I think, like, skipping the next question, I'll go to the second one. Is like, when you say like doing the background work, like we have people who would be here who have just started their course, or who have just like finished their course, and like they don't know how to do all of these things. So what are some of the tips to new students? How would they start with their clinical practice, and how should they approach mentors or hospitals when they're about to start their practice?
So firstly, speak in your community. Check if somebody is willing to give you an observership post. May not be a paid, post, but you follow them, you shadow them. If I'm not wrong, Dr. Shachi does one of those mentoring things. It's a paid session. It's a 3-month long session done in Delhi, right? So there are quite a few of them who do it across the country. So see if you can get into one of those. The second thing, if you can't do that, then walk up to every single pediatrician, every single gynecologist, every single hospital in your community and say, I would like to do this. I am certified. Would you let me come in? The question then is going to come back. What are you offering that we don't already know? Well, it is time. As a pediatrician, as a gynac, as a physio, we already have our day jobs. Lactation then becomes a subsidiary, or maybe just 5 minutes. And most often they spend just about 3 to 7 minutes with the patient. They really have no bandwidth. So doing this for a person to do it dedicatedly is what matters. What is the worst that will happen? They'll say, no, I don't want you. Big deal. It's not like you have to marry them, right? So it's fine. We try again in another place. At some point in time, you will realize that you're doing way better. So start talking to them, start walking out, speak to people, make yourself known in your area, your communities. And if you can do one of those internships, observerships, fantastic. Nothing like it.
Yeah, I think like even like in that one of the key things that I found was like walk up to people. Like you need to put in your effort. You need to like go to people. You need to visit places, and like even like
Absolutely.
even, and I think like something that we also like suggest as to our beginner students and graduates is like start volunteering. Like we have our
Absolutely.
team here in Dehradun. We go around like in Anganwadis, in like different places where we know there would be like some pregnant mothers who would be like,
Yeah.
where you could like, practice things, where you could support them, where you could like start knowing, okay, what kind of questions do I need
Correct.
to answer? Yeah, so that's like really nice. Uh, like let's take a little bit shift from the question that we're asking. So Dr. Swathi, what has been one of your most challenging cases that you've seen in this year so far? And
Wow.
what did you
Okay.
do about it?
Two cases. One was an accessory nipple case that I am presenting in the IOLC this year. That was a little difficult simply because of the way the accessory nipple was, and we had to maintain a feed. But it wasn't difficult from a clinical standpoint. It was difficult in terms of the logistics of having the entire team on board. So I actually had to have meetings regularly with my gynac team, my pediatric team, my nutrition team, to make sure this mother was on the right path and not being given galactogogues, not pumping, nothing of those extra things that would have, caused more damage. But the more difficult case from a clinical standpoint was this one baby, term 39 and 4 days, vaginally born, latched at birth, demand fed, and I think it was 3.8 kgs. Mother had gestational hypertension, latched at birth, did demand feeds and everything. And the 6 hour GRBS, 3 feed GRBS came down to 37, right? Which was a very big surprise because we've been feeding and I go personally to all my feeds. So then the pediatrician and we had a call. We said, let's go ahead, express some milk and let's stop feed. And we do the GRBS, I think 40 minutes later. So I actually expressed 18 ml of colostrum and fed the baby. And this was a spoon feed, of course. And 45 minutes later, we checked sugars. It was 41, right? It's still not picked up. Now, pediatrician said, I'm willing to wait 1 more hour. I want you to express and feed and see what happens. We did that, expressed, I think, another 10 ml-ish, and we fed the baby. Baby is actually very calm, no jittery, nothing. GIBS was just 42. Call was taken to transfer the baby to NICU, start formula feed. Parents didn't consent to a formula feed, so we started, and the nurses started an IV line. Dextrose was given in. But despite that, I think 8 hours later, that's about 2.5 hours after we started all of these checking, GRBS came up to only 60, despite being given sugars. So now they started a whole list of tests and everything, but there was nothing. Baby settled at 24 hours. And we had to start formula. We didn't have a choice. Although the mother had plenty of milk, beautiful secretions, beautiful sucking. Eventually, they just came down to saying it was neonatal hyperinsulinemia. There was no reason why that should have happened, but well, such is life with babies. I think that was one baby that, and also this didn't happen in the day. It happened through the night. This drama started at about 7 p.m. in the evening. So that entire night, me, my pediatrician, my on-call registrar, all of us were stuck in the hospital.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. There are difficult cases that come
Yeah.
up. So, like, I know it's not there in this, but like when you have like, difficult and challenging days, like what are something that you remind yourself that you can pick up everything and then go back and then support other people again?
Uh, the knowledge that at some point in time, what you're doing is make or break for your family. Sometimes the fact that you are the one person who spends anywhere between 30 minutes to an hour with a family trying to get their baby absolutely the right nutrition, the right way to starting life, you hold such a key position in their life. How do you not buck up and move on? I've lost babies, I've lost mothers. All of us at some point in time will have that, unfortunately. You cry and you say, you know what, let's fix the next baby, and you move on. And when it gets really, really, really bad, you call that one person from the BEI group, rant, rave, scream, shout, and then they will say, okay, if you're done now, let's get back to work. For me, that person is going to be Pooja Marathe in Hyderabad or Prachi and Anaga in Bangalore, and sometimes even Dr. Shruti. Just want to call them and say, I need you to hear me out.
Even after you complete your course and even after you're practicing for even quite some time, why is continuing education important in our field? And how has, like, we have this IOLC and you talked about IP a little bit. How has this helped you, like, in your journey?
So medical, whether it is lactation, physio, nursing, MBBS, whatever, is a never-ending journey of learning. There's just so many new things that keep coming, and it is one case that will stump you, and that one case that will, it's that neend uda dena type wala case. So this continuing education, whether it is being an LP member, and the members definitely have those benefits, and it might look like I have to pay so much membership, I've not even earned anything yet. Trust me, for you to earn that money, you need to spend that money today. I think I've spent more on lactation than I ever spent on my physio qualifications. So having these conferences, attending these case discussions make a ton load of difference. The accessory nipple that I'm presenting, the first time I actually saw a case was now, but I knew about it from the 23 or 22 IOLC, where Dr. Shachi had presented the anatomy and development of breasts. Right. So I still remember who presented it. So that's how good these sessions are. Now, yes, it happens once a year. Yes, you have a short period of time to see them. And I know people will just fast forward and do, but you're doing injustice to yourself. Spend that time learning. It can be any kind of learning, but trust me, somewhere your brain registers that information and says, acha, dekha tha kahin pe. So you start checking when, where, who, why, and that will start building in your knowledge database. So like I said, I remember Shachi ma'am doing that in the 22, if I'm not wrong. 23. 24 was last year, this is 25. This was 23. The first session of that conference was Shachi ma'am's case. It was breast anatomy and development, and she had spoken about having accessory nipples. And trust me, 2 years later, I saw the first case. And then I saw 4 more cases after that. Who would imagine, right? Who would imagine that you will have a case like that? And it's not very common. It's really not very common. So now you start to wonder, should I have just ignored that session? No. Get into it. It's worth the money you pay. It's worth every single rupee that you have ever spent, and you will earn that money back. There are a lot of pro bono cases that we will do, but there are a lot of cases that are really high paying as well. So you will earn that money and you need that time. The only thing I'm going to say, Continuing education cannot stop, ever. And please look for reputable sources. Don't randomly pick up Google articles. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry seems to write articles these days with zero knowledge. Please pick up reputables. Look at the qualification of who is publishing it or who is giving you that session. And if it is coming from a team like BEI, it has already been vetted and everything. But so please look at it and pay attention to the laws, and within your boundaries, start learning. And your brain is really smart. It keeps that somewhere, something had happened. Let's go back and dig. And that digging curiosity is important. That's what will get you far.
Yeah, thank you so much for those encouraging points. I think Shivangi has another question here. Could you please mention the course for infant nutrition that you mentioned yourself? Were you doing something?
Yes, I did a couple. So, okay, here's the thing. I'm not the right person for this. The right person for this would be Pooja Marathe. She's a pediatric nutritionist based out of Hyderabad. She works in KIMS. But nonetheless, the certifications that I have is IYCF, the BPMI IYCF. That has some portion of infant nutrition. There is also Miakan, which is an online course done by IIT Bombay. Dr. Rupal Dalal does that session. That is also very minimal. So these are just giving you the right amount of information. Beyond that, look for Institution of Nutrition and Sciences, any of these international universities that give you certification courses. That being said, please bear in mind our basic qualification is not nutrition. So it is important for us to be aware of the nutrition, but it is beyond our purview as a lactationist. So if you choose to do that as a separate line, perfectly okay, but do not mix the two, because now you're stepping into boundaries of somebody else's. So some of these courses are important. Pooja Marathe is your best person to talk to.
Yeah, that's I think that's really nice. Like, it's good to have information, but then also like know what is your scope, and like, because this is something we can't stress enough. Like, know your scope of practice and then work within your scope of practice. So with that, thank you so much, Dr. Swathi, for joining us. This was such an informative session. Thank you for like taking your time and answering these questions.
That was another interview with Dr. Swathi. We really hope you enjoyed being with us here today, listening to Dr. Swathi share her experiences. If you want to listen to more such interviews, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you.